All right, boys and girls, welcome back to the drive-through. Hope everyone's having a good morning for this 3-2 version 1 edition of the drive-through, sponsored by the deli. Hungry? Stop by the deli. Get yourself a couple of Mr. Crow's famous chicken wraps, because you knew Mr. Crow could rap. All right, this is part 1 of lecture 3-2. Okay, we'll have another video tomorrow with a different method, but what we're doing here is building methods to solve systems of equation. That's simply when we have more than one equation. Now, we can only solve the amount of systems if we have the same amount of equations as we do variables. So in these examples today, we will be solving 2 equations for 2 variables. It'll make sense, okay? But let me just remind you what you did yesterday. Yesterday, you didn't use algebra, you used graphing, or you used a different, I guess a different strategy of algebra. So yesterday, you found the equation of one line, and maybe you found the equation of a different line, and then here was their point of intersection, and this was the solution to the equation. Okay? So, today, we're going to use the substitution method. And that is a method of solving systems of equations that utilizes the power of the equal sign. Uh-oh. Let's make this thing nice and big as you guys finish writing that. Boom. Okay, so the equal sign is a very powerful thing, and we're going to use it to our advantage. So, let's take a look at our first example here. You're applying for a job, okay? You're all going to do that at some point in your life. And you got to pick between which one you want. Now, this is a typical math class example where I don't think it's very realistic because of this thing, $30, $35 per day. Who pays by the day? Like, what does a day mean? What if a day is 4 hours at one store and 14 hours at the other store? So, admittedly, I don't love that about this selection, but these are the kind of problems that you're going to be faced with in the short term, so I wanted to get you ready for them, because setting them up often is the hardest part. So, imagine that we're just figuring out which store pays more money in a day. That's how we're going to make our decision, okay? So, in store A, our earnings is going to be 10% of our sales. So if you don't know how commission works, you don't want to sell Tootsie Rolls on commission. You want to sell cars on commission or houses on commission. Like, did you know that a real estate agent makes like 3% of the sale of a house? That's her or his commission. So if you sell a house for $100,000, which is an affordable house for many people, you get yourself $3,000. Okay, that's how you get paid as a real estate agent. So in store A, you get 10% of the sales plus this $35 daily stipend. Okay, and in store B, your earnings are equal to 18% of your sales, but you only get a $10 a day stipend. So obviously, there's going to be a break-even point here. If you don't sell a lot of stuff or a valuable amount of stuff, then you're going to want to work at store A. Store A is where you're going to work at if you sell small values. And then store B, this is where you're going to want to work if you sell top dollar stuff. Okay? Well, what we want to do is figure out exactly how much money do I need to sell so that these two things will be even, and then I'll have a better chance to make my decision. Well, notice they are both equal to the same thing. And so, since they equal the same thing, then we can simply set those things equal to each other. So we can say, when does 0.10s plus 35, when is that equal to 18.18s plus 10? Because they were both equal to E, then I was able to set them equal to each other. And now you'll notice I went from two equations two variables. Now we have one equation, one variable, and that's what we like. We like to solve one equation with one variable. We're used to that. Okay, so this is some weird math, a little bit weirder than we've done it so far this year. We're going to subtract 0.10s. Just stay neat, and I think you'll be fine on this. Okay, you get 35 equals, well, 0.18 minus 0.10 is 0.08s plus 10. Subtract 10 from both sides. You get 25 is 0.08s. Now don't get confused. Don't get intimidated. What are you solving for? You're solving for s. What's being done to the s? It's being multiplied. So what do you want to divide by? You divide each side by 0.08. Okay, pop that into calculator. And you get 312, scroll down a little bit, S equals $312.5. Well, that's $312.50. Okay, so if we sell $312.50 worth of stuff, then it doesn't matter where we work at. Okay, so that is the solution to this problem. And if we wanted to come up with a plan, we would say if we thought we were going to sell, on average, more than $312 worth of stuff, then we would want to work at store B. Okay, if we were not going to sell more than $312 worth of stuff, then we would want to work at store A. So you can see how commission works. It incentivizes the worker to sell more. And you'll know, like, when you're at, let's say, H.H. Gregg, their salesmen work on commission, because when you walk into H.H. Gregg, you get pummeled by these people. Hey, can I help you? You want to buy a TV? You want to buy, let me throw in a washer and dryer. I'll get you a VCR on the lockdown. And it's just, you know, how it works. These people are trying to make their money, and so it's important to them that they get your sales. Where when you walk into Walmart, the greeter is going to be making his $10 an hour no matter what. So he just stands there and smiles and says, hey, have a good time at Walmart. And that's the difference. Okay? Let's do one more example. This will look like a homework problem. I wanted to do this one because now it looks a little different. Notice, these two equations do not equal the same thing. We've got this black equation here, and we've got this blue equation here, and nothing's equal to the same thing. We're going to use a different strategy here. Notice, it is easy to solve this equation for y. Okay? So if I subtract 2x from both sides, now I have y equals, we'll call it 10 minus 2x. Maybe you called that negative 2x plus 10, and that would be totally fine. Well, look, the power of the equal sign. What does y equal? Y equals 10 minus 2x. So anywhere I have a y, I'm going to take it out. And now I'm going to write 3x plus 4 times 10 minus 2x equals 12. Aha! That's why they call it the substitution method. Notice here, I had two equations, two variables, And now I have one equation, one variable, and that is the entire goal. Okay, now I can solve this thing. So 3x plus, got to distribute, 40 minus 8x equals 12. So you get combined like terms here, negative 5x plus 40 equals 12. Subtract 40, 12 minus 40 is negative 28. Divide each side by negative 5. 28 divided by negative 5 is positive 5.6, I believe. So x is 5.6. How do we find y? Power of the equal sign. Pop the x in there. So y is 10 minus 2 times 5.6. And that's a negative 1.2. And that is the solution to the system of equations. They might want you to write it as 5.6, comma, negative 1.2, and they might want you to circle it. Boom!